Hello and welcome back to Vegas Aces live stream. My name is Heather Ferris and I will be your host for today. So on this live stream, we are going to be discussing coloring up, what you didn't know about coloring up. Hopefully you can learn something new in here. If you have any questions at all, suggestions, comments, anything like that about coloring up, please put it in the comments and I'll answer your questions at the end of this video. Now, before we get started, I just want to remind you to subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you're always notified of our latest videos and live streams. Now, hopefully everything is working. Last time we had some problems troubleshooting, so if you're watching this live, just let me know in the chat that you could see me and hear me okay and everything's working well. Really appreciate it. Also, if you are new to this channel and this is your first time here, my name is Heather Ferris and I am the founder of Vegas Aces. I am also an adjunct professor at UNLV, a content creator, a consultant, and I've been involved with the casino industry for over 15 years. I created Vegas Aces to help people learn how to play and deal casino table games. And as a way to give back to our community, we offer a free dealing trade school where we help place dealers at no cost. Now on with the show. Fantastic. Looks like everything is working well. Good to see you guys in the chat. Really good seeing you. Thank you for being here. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Now, the first thing that we are going to start with in this video, the question, should players color up? Now, I actually get this question a lot. I'm pretty surprised that I get this question. But players want to know, should they color up or should they just take their chips and leave? And a lot of players, they'll just take their chips and leave. And that's fine if they have, say, 1 green chip and 2 red chips. But a lot of people do this when they have a large pile of chips. So first question that we are going to answer is, should the players color up when they leave? Yes. If you have a large amount of chips, if you have piles upon piles of chips, if you have more than 5 red chips, for example, or more than 4 green chips, if you have like anything like this or any kind of pile at all, then yes, you definitely want to color up before you leave the table. So coloring up, what coloring up is the player will give the dealer a large amount of chips and the dealer will exchange those chips with fewer larger denomination chips. So for example, if you have, let's say, $400, instead of leaving the table with this stack of green chips, you're going to color up, and for that amount you're going to get 4 black chips. And it's a lot easier to walk around with those 4 black chips than it is to walk around with a stack of green chips. So if you have a large amount of chips, more than 5 chips, more than 5 red chips or more than 4 green chips, then yes, you want to color up. Now, if you have a small amount, let's say if you have 1 green and 2 red, like so, then this is already a small amount. You don't have to color this up. You could just take this and leave. So I hope that answers that question. Again, if you guys have any questions at all, please put them in the chat and I will answer them at the end of the video. It is definitely good to see everyone here. Now, before we continue on with our next section, which is how to color up, so as a dealer, how do you go about going through the process of coloring up? Before we go on to part 2, I just want to say thank you, Rocky, very much for your super chat, which is perfect timing because that goes into what I was just about to say. So thank you very much, Rocky, for the super chat. And for the viewers out there, if you like this video and you want to help support Vegas Aces, then please tip your dealer like Rocky did. And now you can with Super Chat. Super Chat is a way YouTube allows you to show your appreciation by tipping me any amount you want. Go ahead, give it a try, or show your support by becoming a member of my Patreon page. We have several different levels and rewards for you to choose from. Any membership level counts, even $1, so please go join today. Okay, now if you guys notice on, here we go, the side, right over here, we have super chat perks. So Rocky gave us a super chat of $2. Thank you very much for the super chat, Rocky. Which means that Pip gets 2 treats, which is perfect timing because Pip is barking her head off. Pip. Oh, by the way, for your people out there wearing earphones, I'm going to whistle. Come here, Pip. There you go. Thank you very, very much for that super chat. I appreciate it, and so does Pip. So she is going to enjoy that here. And if you need any links, if you're interested in becoming a member of our Patreon page, then you can find those links in the description below. Okay, so let us go back to the next one, which is how do you go about coloring up? If you have a player on the table who has a large amount of chips and they try to leave, don't show people your butt. Sorry. Pip says thank you very much for the treats. She really does appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. There you go. If I leave her on the table, she will continue to show you guys her rear end, and I'm sure you don't want to see that. So how do we do this? How do we color up? If someone is at your table and they're walking away with a large amount of chips, you want to color them up. As a dealer, you would be like, oh, sir, here, let me color you up before you go. So the player would give you a large stack of chips, whatever chips that they had. For example, we'll use these right here as an example. So what you do is, the first thing you do is you bring the chips in and you cut them out so that way you know how much is there. Now, when you bring this in, always bring in both stacks and cut out the larger denomination first. When you're cutting out the larger denomination first, that's going to be the closest to you, which means that you're going to be able to protect it better. So we're going to do green first, and we're going to do it closer to me, closer to the bank, so that way I'm able to protect it better. And then you'll do the red chips after that. We have one red chip here that you don't really need, and this is the part that I always had fun with. So what to do with the extra? Okay, a lot of people are like, well, what do I do with the extra? There's a few ways you could do it. In fact, some casinos prefer you do it one way, and other casinos don't really care how you do it. So we'll start off with the casinos who do care. If your casino cares, then what they're going to tell you is you're going to lay all of the chips out, even if there is an extra amount, like this little chip right here, it's a little extra amount. You're going to lay everything out, and then you're going to give the player the color up portion exactly verbatim, including the part where you don't really have to color them up, like this one red chip, for example. So the dealer's going to lay out all the chips. It's going to be on the left side of the table, and then on the right side of the table, they're going to put the larger denomination chips out. So we have $400 right here. That's 400. Then we have 3 stacks, 3 green chips, that's 75. And then the one loose red chip that doesn't really go anywhere. And this way we could see our color up amount exactly. So the camera, the eye in the sky, can see that this is the amount you're bringing in, and this is the amount that is going out. So after that, we would give the player their money, like so, and they would take it and leave. And after we give out their money, then we would bring this money in. So when you're coloring up, for example, you never, ever, ever want to have your money out and then start putting away money before you give the money to the player. This, what I'm doing right here, where I'm taking the money and I'm putting it away before I've given this out, don't do that. That is absolutely horrible. Really, really bad. Do not do that. You never want to do that. What you want to do instead is you always want to give out the player's amount first, like so you can see it, and then you could take the money and put it in the bank. So always give the player their money and then put the money in the bank. Okay, so let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, anything like that. In this next section, we're going to go over some scenarios, and then I'm going to answer all of your questions. So if you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, anything like that, please put it in the chat and I will get to it. Okay, just making sure I didn't forget anything. So before we go on to our next section, if you would like to help support Vegas Aces, then one of the ways that you could help support us is by going to vegas-aces.com. When you go to the website, if you click on any of our affiliate banners, if you sign up for an account, then through that affiliate link, our website gets a small commission. It's really, really helpful, especially now during COVID. If you ever have any problems, or if there's ever a dispute or anything like that, please let us know and we will help you. And that is just an additional thing that we added to our website, so look out for it, check it out, let us know what you think. Okay, so let us go on to section number 3. Section number 3, scenarios, different scenarios of stuff that happens when you are coloring up. Now, what happens, for example, if, and this happens a lot, what happens if a player comes up to you and they're like, oh, I finally won, this is awesome. Okay, color me up. Yeah, what do? This happens. People do that. People like having a pile of chips. It's fun. Some people really enjoy that. And they don't want to clean it up or anything when they give it to the dealer. So they'll just be like, instead of all in, they'll be like, yeah, color me up. This is awesome. Okay, so as a dealer, what do you do when this happens? No problem. You muck up the chips and then you do the normal color up. Now, before you touch anything, okay, the player has their chips and they pushed it towards you and now it's right here. The very first thing you do before you do anything at all is you clap out. You show your hands to the cameras. You want the cameras to see that you have absolutely nothing in your palms at all. So clap out, and then after you've clapped out, then you could bring all the money in. Now you're gonna muck up the chips, and this is just a really fast way of the dealers picking up the chips and putting in a stack of 20. So we're gonna muck this up. Mucking typically happens on roulette, but for examples like this, it helps with blackjack too. So we're gonna muck this up real fast. So I'm gonna do 25s first, looking for 25s. Now we're looking for reds, so let's muck up all the reds. It's been a while, my hands aren't as good as they used to be. Okay, and then we have the blacks. Black chips, done. Okay, so once you've mucked up the chips and now you have them in a pile, like so, now you're going to do the normal color up procedure. So again, the highest denomination is going to be the closest to you. So let's see what we got here. We're going to do 3, 3, and 1. Since it's an odd number, it's 7. We could do 5 and 2. That's an option too. If you do 5 and 2, some casinos want you to prove that it's 5. If you're going to do this, it's just easier to do 3, 3, 1. It really depends on the casino. It depends on what casino you're at and what they want you to do. So we're going to do 3, 3, 1. And now we're going to do the green chips. And then we're going to do the red chips. Okay. And then after it's all laid out for the cameras to see, you're going to color it up. So again, let's see, we got 7. So 700, 800, 900, 1,000. So we're going to get out $1,000 chip. And then we have 100, 175, 180. So 1,180. So again, you're going to get it out. If you have any chips that are above 100, some casinos, they want you to call out 100. other casinos that want to have you call out anything over 100. So for example, we have $1,000 chip. Coloring up, 1,180. Coloring up, 1,180. And then the floor supervisor will come over, double check everything, make sure everything's good. When he gives you the approval, you can hand it off to the player. And then after you've handed off to the player, you could bring in the chips and put them in your tray. So that's one scenario. Another scenario is, let's see, okay. If you were coloring up, let's say I got 500 right here. If I was coloring up, if anything's happening, if anything's going on, while I'm coloring up, I am not supposed to reach over and go over the color up, okay? Like, if I'm set up for a color up, if I'm doing a color up, if I'm coloring up a player, then I would never ever go over the line while I'm coloring up. This is not good. You never want to go over it. Covering it, blocking the cameras from you, like, they have to be able to see this at all times. So you never want to block the cameras from view. So that is another scenario that you have to think about when coloring up. You never want to cover any of the color up at any time. You never want to go over it. You never want to block it. Nothing like that. And the last one, the last scenario that we have before we go to your questions. So remember, if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, we will address it at the end of the video. The other one is, what is the highest chip amount you can give out when coloring up? And again, this really just depends on your casino, and really it depends on what table you're at. So if you're on the floor, if you're just doing a normal $5 game, then the most money you're probably going to have on your table could be the $100 chips. Some places it might be the pink $500 chips. So you're not going to go up very high. That's the most you could do. So when you color up, even if it's, for example, let's say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So let's say it's $10,000. You couldn't just give the player a $10,000 chip because you don't have a $10,000 chip on the bank. You only have $500 chips. So if you only have $500 chips on the table, then when you're coloring them up, no matter what the amount is, that's what you're giving them. If the player is betting so much money that you actually have to worry about this, then more than likely they will do a credit on your table, and you'll have higher denomination chips on your table to accommodate for that player. Now, let's say, for example, you're in the high limit room. Well, high limit room, they have they have whales there all the time. So it's normal for whales to bet, $5,000 a hand, that type of a thing. Then you're going to start seeing higher denomination chips in those areas because that's what they have to accommodate for. So when you color someone up, you're going to color them up to the best of your ability of what's available to you in that bank or in that rack. The most money I have ever seen is a $5,000 chip, which they call chocolate. I'll give you guys a quick story. When I was dealing, when I was working at the Hard Rock, I saw a chocolate chip underneath one of the tables, and stupid me, I'm like, oh my god, I found that $5,000 chip. This is awesome. Like, just, saying it so everybody hears it. And I'm walking with one of the managers, and one of the managers is like, oh no, honey, you did not want to do that. Like, you saw it, you picked it up, you said something, now you have to turn it in. I'm like, oh, that sucks. So I had to turn that in. It was in lost and found for 30 days. And that's because as an employee, if you find money on the floor, you're technically supposed to give it back. Now, if I was off the clock, that would be something different. But anyway, now what is the highest amount for a chip? Again, depends on the casino, depends on where you're at. One of the questions we got was, is there a $1 million chip? I have no reason to think why there wouldn't be. You know, of course there would be $1 million chip. If you have a high roller betting, you know, $1 million a hand, you would probably want $1 million chip. It's probably a plaque more than likely, but I myself have never seen it in person, so there's that. Okay, let's see. Now, remember, if you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, put it in the chat. I will answer it shortly. Just a quick reminder, Vegas Aces is supported by viewers like you. Donations make it possible for us to bring you all of these videos for free. If you think that this video was worth more than $0, please donate the amount you feel it's worth by clicking the link in the description below. Okay, so let us do the viewer questions, viewer chat. Let's see what you guys are saying in here. Thank you guys so much for joining. Really do appreciate it. Apparently Joey is a bouncer. That's good to know. Rocky has an official dealer's tip, and Rocky's official dealer's tip is don't show people your butt. Don't show people? Don't show people your butt. Okay, there you go. Either way, both very good advice. We do have a question. Joe says, do you ever color up to Barneys or pumpkins, or is it mainly blackbirds? Yeah, so each color has a name. Like what I was saying before, $5,000 chip, that's a chocolate because it's brown. So what he is talking about, pumpkins would be orange, blackbirds would be black. Barney's, I'm assuming, is purple. Let me know if that's right or not. But yeah, it really just depends on the casino, and it depends on what table you're working at. Some tables have higher denominations than others. Also, if you have a high roller on your table, they'll credit you higher chips so you can play with them. And like I said, the most money I ever dealt with when I was a dealer was $5,000 chips. Let's see what else you guys are saying. So Nashville says, I remember something like this being a challenge on The Amazing Race. The teams had to count out 1 million in chips from a table full of lower denomination chips in a massive scattered pile. Oh, I would have been so good at that challenge. That would have been fun. I want to do that challenge. That would be fun. You know, maybe I should do a mucking challenge one day. Have that be one of my future live streams. We'll do like a mucking challenge between dealers. I love that idea. Domestic. Hi, Dom. Is color up the phrase a player would use when asking the dealer to do this? How do players usually convey this request to the dealer? Yeah, so color up would be what they would use. So when you're ready to leave the table and you have your money, just be like, color up. Can I have a color up? Or can you color me up? Okay, no problem. And we'll color you up. So yeah, just ask the dealer for a color up. Hey, can you color me up? Hey, can you color up these chips? Or color coming in, that's another one, but that's more of like a dealer saying. Yeah, so that's what you would say. You know, can you color me up? And just give them the chips, and then they'll be able to give you higher denomination chips. Less chips, but higher denomination chips. A lot easier for walking around in the casino. Totally. Okay, so if you have any more questions, ask now. Otherwise, I think we are going to end this live stream. Before we do, we have a live stream with Mike Shackelford today at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at The Odds Must Be Crazy. Please join us. We are going to do Ask Mike Anything, so that's always fun. And thank you so much for watching. Please join us for our next live stream. We do a live stream every Monday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until then, this is Heather Ferris with Vegas Aces, reminding you that education can change the world. Good to see you guys. See you next time. Bye.